All praises to the Most High, Yahuwah Yehoshua. This is YYBY. Yes. So, people, I'm about to show y'all my template, my recording template that I record hundreds of artists on. My template is not huge like everybody else, but it's straight to the point because I always have a different approach with every music, every song, every beat, everything. So I don't have everything. You know, some people do a template where it's like they might have drums and the right kick drums, the right kit, the right this, the same instruments, the same. I don't do all that because every song is different. Every song has a different approach. I don't know what I might do. But right now I'm about to talk about my recording template. So this is what I do when I record all type of artists. I go to new song, and as you see, I have a beat making template, I have a mixing process template, and I have a recording template. And I click my recording template, and I always take off stretch audio files to song tempo. I only use this when I'm making beats. I take this off. If y'all think different, explain to me why. And then, you know, I kind of got this already where I wanted it to be, and I named the song, blah, blah, blah. We're going to send it to the desktop because we don't need this. And press OK. So boom, this is my template. There's normally 24 tracks. Have my beat template. Okay, so now I have a monitor button at the top. The reason why I have a separate monitor button sometimes is because if I'm tagging in, if I'm on track 2 and I'm tagging in, say somebody record vocals and they say, you know what, I want to say, you know, okay, I'm going to put an audio file. Let's put an audio file right here. I'm just grab anything. I won't play it, but I'm going to just drop a sample in. No, that's not, that's MIDI. That's MIDI right there. Let's say you got this audio file, right? And they say, hey, you know what? I want to just tag this part in right there. So when you have the monitor button on and you just want to tag this small piece in right here, once you set your auto punch in, which is called auto punch, you can't hear nothing if you have this turned on right here. If you have that turned on, you can't hear none of this playing. So if I want to start the person ahead of time like this and tag them in, you can't hear nothing. So sometimes I use the monitor button right here. Normally I just, if they want to tag in, I just go to track 2, the next track, and I just let them record right here, boom. And then when they record right here, then you know, probably bring it up to this spot right here so it could be on one track together. So that's why I have the monitor button. On my beat track, I have a Pro EQ already set. Sometimes I put a dip in it, you know, find a little sweet spot where the vocals can stand out more. If they recording with an instrumental, you know, I mean, you have more control when you record, when you have all the stems, but everybody don't provide their music that way. And they will learn eventually that the best way to record really is with the stems, even though you still can't lose recording on the instrumental. You know, it's a lot of records that's out, they recorded on the instrumental. But, you know, this is what the EQ is for, to put a dip in it, find the right sweet spot where the vocals can stand out more on the graph. And then what I did, I created a splitter and made a low, mid, high pan. This is my pan. So I got a pan where I got more width on the highs. Sometimes on the mid pan, I spread it more wide, or I go in more based on the sound of it. It give it a different vibe. And then on the low, I have it all the way mono. So this is my beat, just in case, because everybody beat is not mixed properly. If you feel what I'm saying, it's not mixed properly. So I will have this already on the beat track. All right, now let's go to my mixer. On my mixer, I have a VU meter open right here, as you can see. I have a level meter. I use this when it's time for me to do the mastering process. Before I do the mastering process, I got the big meter. I make sure I can see my levels. If it's around 7 dB, I make sure I see the levels. I don't deal with the 6 dB. I deal with the number 7. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with dealing between 5 and 8 dB, you know, of headroom when it comes to mastering. but I wanted to be around 7, and I could see it better with this meter. And I have a limiter during the recording process. Why? Because on my vocal tracks, as you can see, I make sure my beat level is lower than all the other tracks, right? Because a lot of the instrumentals already mixed and mastered, so they louder. And then what I do, as you can see, I got some of my vocal tracks already lower. They're around what, 5 dB. So that means that if I'm recording on this track, the vocals gonna come in at a certain level, right? Which is great because I'm doing a mic check right here on the input. But instead of me raising these up, if I want to hear it louder in my speakers, through my speakers, I won't raise these up. I would just go to the limiter and raise this up. Just for temporary. Bring it down, raise it up. And also I have this for if I finish the song with the artist and they say, hey, can you send me an MP3? I just want to listen to it and vibe to it. Okay, cool. So what I would do, I would just raise this up a little louder, so they can really hear it, so it don't sound low, so they can really feel the music when they playing it back and listening to their mistakes. Maybe they want to change something. Maybe they want to come back and record it, stuff like that. Or before they say, hey, you know what? I want you to go ahead and mix it and master it for me. So I raise this up. But like I say, I won't, play with these because the point, I play with these, but if I'm focusing on not raising everything, but lowering everything. So if I got my beat, this is my beat right here. So I'm raising everything up and down around my beat as I'm mixing, the vocals and, bringing everything up and down. So the more I do this, the lower the song would sound, right? The lower the song would sound. So when I export it out, it would sound very low. So that's why I use the gain to raise it up for temporary, and then when I decide to get ready to mix and master, then I turn this off, right? I turn that off. And then I start, grabbing all the tracks. I grab all the tracks and start raising them up and watching this meter, and I can make it around 7 dB. That's what I do before I do the mastering process. All right. Now during the recording, on my input, I have a fat channel. I have a gate set perfectly. What the gate is for? White noise. Some people say, well, you shouldn't put a gate on there if it's already, the room is isolated. Yeah, but this is the thing. I tell people, like I was saying inside Reason. As you can see, I got this set up to 12 dB. Why I got my gain right here turned up to 12 dB? Because on my input, on my audio interface, I have the volume down low. I have it down very low. So when the vocals coming in on the input is low. So that means that if they decide to raise their voice and get loud, it won't distort. I don't want to take the energy and vibe from them. I don't want to say, hey, well, can you get a little lower? No. If they want to scream on their record, let them scream, because that's their energy they want to put out in their record. Some people scream, or they got the DMX vibe or something like that. Rest in peace to DMX. So I have the input knob low. So this gain is turned up to give that extra low volume, make it louder on the input. So once it hit about around 12 and 9 or something like that, I have my limiter on at 11 dB. So what my limiter do, when it get around 11, it kind of smoothed off the edges of that audio. And some people agree with that, some people don't. But the reason why I do it, because it makes the vocals already sound smooth. They sound more controlled. If you do it too much, it'll take the life away from them. But that's the whole point about setting your input and doing your mic check correctly. And so it actually make it easy when it's time for my mixing process. The vocals already coming through smooth and they sound great. Now every DAW don't have an input like this, because whatever you have on this input, that information is embedded on that audio track, and you cannot take it off that audio track. You would have to do the vocals over. So it's very important how you set it. And I might use a little bit of EQ based on the artist. Sometimes I don't. But normally it's the limiter and the gate on here. Sometimes I don't use the compressor, you know, because I already got the limiter. There's no need for me to compress it if I got to using the limiter. If I don't use the limiter, then I do light compression. So I might raise a little bit of the EQ on the input level. Now, if they say, hey, you know what, I need the auto-tune. Okay, cool. So 2 things I might do. I might put the auto-tune right here. I might go to pitch and, you know, drop the auto-tune on the input track. Now, if I put the auto-tune on the input track, whatever is recorded on the input, you cannot take it off. You have to do it over. You know, but what this do, it limits me from having auto-tune on track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5, track 6, stuff like that. Because if I just do it this way, where I put it on track 2, you know, he record his vocals or she record her vocals, and I set it, and they say, hey, you know what, I want the auto-tune on the next vocal. Then I have to get it and I have to drag the auto-tune to that track too. So it'd be a lot of auto-tunes I'm using. So it's based on how powerful your computer is, you know. So, but you have more control this way with the auto-tune. So that means that you still can change the levels and retune everything and do this and turn it off if you don't need it when you have it on the tracks. But if you have it on the input, you can't change nothing or take anything off after you record the vocals. So now I have a reverb on every track. It's turned off. So if they want to record with a little bit of reverb on their vocals, I turn that on. And some people like the vibe with the reverb on it, especially singers and stuff like that. So this is my basic template, what I do when I'm recording vocals. You know, but I always get the beat tempo before I record, and I get the notes of the beat. If I drop the beat in, I drag it to the chords. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I'm gonna show y'all. So let's say for example, let's say if this is my beat, right? What I would do, I would get the beat, I would drag it up here, and I would get the chords, the first chord, I would turn that to yellow, boom. That'd be my main, so that'd be an F, that's the F major, I go down here, and I say F major. So now the Studio One know my notes of my record. So if I decide I want to add some extra music to it, play another instrument with it, if they asking for that, anything of that nature, they might want a quick little sample on a joint. Now I can record it because I have the tempo and I have the notes of that beat. So this is my basic template, because when it's time for mixing, all these tracks, right, wherever it's like hook, vocals, and choruses, and intros and outros, that's when I start organizing that stuff then and putting it in groups. I group them, you know, bust them down and stuff like that. I don't just have buses created from the beginning, because again, you don't know how many tracks you're going to use. You don't know what you're going to bust. You know, after I get done with that, that's when I do all that. Yeah, I think that's about it for my, also up here I have my own macro set, you know, for production and audio. You know, as you can see, I have my own arranger. So if I click this right here and I press arranger, it'll put arranger right there real quick on that track perfectly. I got Melodyne, so I can highlight all my tracks and select Melodyne, and Melodyne will add to it. Even though you still can go to right click and go to Melodyne this way. But it's just a quick shortcut. I got my volume 3, so if I record vocals and I say it's too low, I can just press that and just bring the volume up one time, 3 dB. I can just bring it down 3 dB, bring it down again 3 dB, stuff like that. Kind of even all my tracks as I record the vocals. So if I can get all the vocal tracks to be even as far as the way they look, it'll be much easier to mix, you know, once I get done with recording the song and everything. So is that about it? I touch. Yeah, I think that's it when it comes to my input, you know, my recording template. If you have any questions, just, you know, hit me up. And if you disagree with something, also, you know, speak your piece and tell me, you know, what you disagree with. But yeah, like I say, but this is something I recorded almost, with this type of template, I recorded almost 200 artists. So, you know, this is my beginning, my first setup to get the job done. All right, this is YYBY. Peace.